Moments of inspiration mixed with time to network, IBJ Media Events has you covered. From industry deep dives to awards celebrating Indiana's top leaders, see what's coming up and reserve your seat at ibj.com/RSVP.
As the world turns, Indiana flexes its muscle in the global economy.
Classic public-private kind of endeavor, and we've just made it very easy, and it's good to see it at this point so quickly.
Governor Mike Braun on the new $60 million deal connecting Israel to Indiana. Plus, how the Electric Works campus in Fort Wayne is powering up the workforce. And Fishers on another roll. Mayor Scott Faddness joins us to talk about a new luxury hotel, life sciences, and more.
It's an ongoing thing, I think, for the rest of your life, but the group at Bosma has really helped tremendously.
More on how Bosma Industries is giving hope to visually impaired people. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, LIUNA, and the Indiana Association of Realtors.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. The state of Indiana taking big strides this week in strengthening itself as a place for businesses around the globe to set up shop. It is a calculated high-stakes investment aimed at positioning Indiana as a hub for global innovation by tapping into one of the world's most powerful tech ecosystems. Iron Nation Indiana, a $60 million public-private partnership that aims to bring innovation and cutting-edge companies from Israel to the Hoosier State, potentially reshaping the state's tech economy and global reach. There are currently at least 9 Israeli companies doing business in Indiana, from precision ag company Taranis in Westfield to Doral Renewables, developing one of the nation's largest solar projects in Northwest Indiana. But Iron Nation Indiana is looking to grow that number in a big way and make Indiana a landing zone for innovation from one of the world's startup hotspots. Jason Wolf is a co-founder of Iron Nation, an investment and commercialization initiative born out of tragedy.
Iron Nation started as an emergency initiative following October 7th. Of course, logically, funding stopped coming immediately after the war started, so we set up Iron Nation as a pro bono volunteer activity to bring startups that were about to be at risk because of the war, to fund them and support them and grow them. And we ended up doing 24 startups, raised $20 million from individuals who wanted to invest and saw a return in these startups. And we made those startups successful.
It is estimated there are some 9,000 tech startups in Israel. More than half of the nation's exports are high-tech related. The goal of Iron Nation Indiana is simple: bring Israeli innovators and innovation to the Hoosier State.
But if you're an Israeli innovator doing advanced technologies, things in defense and in medicine and in agriculture and energy, you now will see the signal that's anchored by the state with the local partners that we've built, and you'll say, wow, I need to have a part of this and bring myself to scale in Indiana.
The $60 million initiative will be anchored by a $15 million performance-based investment by the state of Indiana. Governor Mike Braun was pitched on the idea a little more than a year ago.
Generally, it doesn't work that quickly, but I was impressed then and told him, hey, we're going to work with you because, I've talked about a quantum corridor from the region to Lafayette to Indy to Bloomington to Crane, and now Crane with like drones and technology. They're one of the top 2 or 3 military bases in the country.
When you move to Silicon Valley, you don't need to think about, is it a good community for high tech? You think about it. We want those advanced technologies to come here, build here, and grow from here.
Luke Messer serves as the Indiana partner for Our Nation Indiana, and Luke, former Indiana congressman as well. It's always great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Gary, great to be here.
Okay, walk us through $60 million fund. The goal, as I understand it, to create basically a pipeline of innovation of companies from Israel to Indiana. How does it work in practice?
Well, as I was saying to you before we came on, I really applaud the Braun administration for both their courage of standing in the wake at this unique moment where we, of course, know there's war with Israel and Iran, but also the wisdom to see that for all that we've brought here from an Indiana tech ecosystem, that we built this great race car, you need to have a great race engine. And as the segment showed, Israel is one of the leading in the world. It's a $60 million total fund, anchored by a $15 million state investment, but it's driven by the private sector. You know, a lot's been made of that investment, but I think it's important to remember $30 million plus in the Israeli entrepreneur money is coming here because they see the opportunity in our state.
When you look at opportunities here, specific industries, the few Israeli companies now are in a diverse set of industries. Defense down in southern Indiana near Crane, solar in northwest Indiana. Are there specific sectors of the economy targeted here in Indiana?
I think that'll be the big focus of opportunity. The One Health industries like animal health, human health, and plant health. We have these amazing companies, Eli Lilly, Elanco, Cook, Corteva, and others, great universities like Purdue and NIU. And I think every one of these Israeli tech companies, they have to come to market in Indiana. And when they've come and visited, what they see is this, incredibly collegial atmosphere where folks are welcoming to them, but have all the assets they need to succeed and be profitable.
Has the welcome mat in Indiana been put up? Because they could have put this idea in other places, I assume. Why Indiana?
Well, look, we've gone to some other states, and look, we hope over time that we get a chance to go some other states. One of the partners, Jason, who you just heard in your interview, he spent a lot of his career in Silicon Valley. And when they first came here almost a year ago, after several of these meetings, he said, this reminds me of Silicon Valley 30 years ago, where people liked each other, where they were all working together to solve those kind of problems. Make no mistake about it, we're excited by the state and their leadership, but the reason these entrepreneurs are coming to Indiana is because they believe it's an unfair advantage, that when these businesses come to market in our state, they're gonna be more successful, they're gonna be more profitable. That's great for Israel, but most importantly, sitting here in Indiana, it's great for Indiana.
Yep. Luke Messer, Iron Nation, Indiana. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure we'll be doing more on this in the future.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Expect announcements soon.
Good. Well, Indiana's ripe business climate has caught the eye of other major companies around the globe. Case in point, South Korean-based Hanjung breaking ground on its first U.S. manufacturing operation this week in Huntington. $4.5 million investment. It's expected to create up to 440 new jobs in Northeast Indiana at full production. Hanjung will produce energy storage system components for battery makers. And we'll have more later in the show on a big investment coming to Indiana from a European company. But up next, one of Fort Wayne's signature developments marks another milestone. Details on the latest at Electric Works when we return. We are on the road again, and we're traveling to every region in the state. Join IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the state of Indiana for the Innovate Indiana series, sponsored by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. You'll hear from Governor Mike Braun and regional leaders as we explore growth, innovation, and what's next for your region. Don't miss this front row look at the role your region plays in shaping the state's future. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
Richards, get in the game. We're getting pickled here. And they're crushing our loan business too.
But this Lake City Bank team seems nice. They offer small business loans from your phone.
We have that too.
You can even speak to a real live banker.
You guys good?
No one needs to talk to a person anymore.
I like people.
Nice game. Come by the branch anytime.
They have branches?
Friendly business loans. Apply online with SwiftLend or visit real human bankers at your local branch.
Well, another jolt to juice the multi-million-dollar Electric Works Innovation District project in downtown Fort Wayne. It's the site of the former General Electric campus there, which is being transformed into a vibrant work, live, play space. This part of the evolution has to do with housing. Fort Wayne city leaders marking the grand opening of the ELECS, which includes nearly 300 mixed-income affordable housing units. It is a dynamic designed to fulfill community needs and future development.
We really wanted to try to meet the community's challenges that it faced in a mixed income development like this. Is difficult, and the financing was not easy to put together. The construction being wrapped around a parking garage, a lot of unique challenges, but super excited to finally, be able to demonstrate this to the community, for them to see the units, to see the high quality and the detail that we really put into this.
Another element adding to the growth at Electric Works, Indiana's largest private employer, Do It Best, investing $12 million to expand its headquarters there, which is expected to create nearly 200 new jobs. To a look at continued explosive growth in the Hamilton County city of Fishers now, a new $75 million luxury hotel in the works, which will go next to the 7,500-seat Fishers Event Center. Add to that an aggressive move to become a life sciences hub, and big plans on the books, too, for a revitalized downtown. Lots going on, and Fishers Mayor Scott Faddness joins us now to dig into all of that. Mayor, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, first of all, the hotel that was just announced earlier this month, $75 million, big investment right next to the event center. What does it mean for the project?
Yeah, well, I think it's affirmative to the whole project. We talked about that event center being a catalyst for so much other economic development, and to have this caliber of a hotel, we're going to announce a brand here in the near future, but it's going to be a boutique, high-end hotel with a lot of really engaging retail right there on the plaza, right in front of the event center. We had 500,000 people went to that event center last year. And just today, we announced the Women's Big Ten Championship.
I want to talk about that. A little breaking news. The event center, which has been open now a year and a half or so, and you did win to get that event.
Yeah, it's the first time ever. The Big Ten is going to have a Women's Volleyball Championship series. It'll be this fall right in Fishers, Indiana. So we're going to have the top women's Big Ten volleyball teams showcased right here at the event center.
Talk about the broader development there as you look at that, Mayor, because there's so much activity, development activity, that's attracting a lot of people. Has this exceeded your expectations
yes,
in some way?
I'd love to say that I had thought all of this completely through, but to be honest with you, it has truly exceeded our expectations. The amount of culinary opportunities, I think we're announcing a restaurant, it seems like every few weeks that's going to go in there. We're topping probably 30 or 40 restaurants that'll be right in that area. You have almost 1,500 units of multifamily. You got a 70,000 square foot office building being built, and now you have an AC Marriott, and then hopefully here shortly a Hilton high-end boutique hotel right in that area. So yeah, it's become kind of an innovation / entertainment district on the northeast side of our metropolitan area.
And you mentioned the hotel's going to have a lot of retail space.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of unique. Normally you think of just a bar in the downstairs of a hotel. This has nearly 30,000 square foot of retail, again, to engage all that area on the plaza. And Prime 47 has already identified that location, and there's probably 2 or 3 more restaurants we'll announce here in the near future.
Talk about, part of this I know is to attract talent, to keep talent, attract talent. The life sciences space, which is exploding in Fishers. Talk about the development around the life sciences and how you envision Fishers really becoming a hub.
Yeah, it really is. It's just up the road where you think about where we've talked about before, INCOG Pharmaceuticals, Stevanato. Just those 2 companies alone will have both committed together collectively to 1,700 jobs, average salary $80,000 to $100,000 a year, and over $1.5 billion of investment. That's for a community our size, 110,000 people today. That's an incredible opportunity.
Mayor Scott Faddness from Fishers, great to see you.
Good to see you.
We're going to keep an eye on this going forward. See you soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, still ahead, details on big manufacturing projects in the works around Indiana. Plus, adding up the impact of Indiana's newest form of gambling it's having on veterans and other organizations, why electronic pull tabs are helping the bottom line for a number of Hoosier charities.
Whether you're buying or selling a home, the stakes are high. Realtors are market experts who do business by a higher code of ethics, and we're invested in Indiana because we're also your neighbors. Now here's the latest statewide real estate report.
Listings grew by 5% year over year, continuing to outpace sales. Pendings jumped by 30% from February to March and were up 1% year over year. Sales were similar, up 27% from February and 1% from last year. Inventory is tightening, but growing year over year. However, inventory growth has slowed. We've been at 13% year-over-year growth for the past 4 months, while growth ranged from 15 to 30% in the 2 years before that. Prices are up 4% year-over-year, $10,000 higher than last March. Days on market fell significantly, and immediate sales are more common. Price drops are falling, but higher than last year.
The challenges are real.
Type 2 diabetes rising
Small
faster
businesses
among
need help.
Alzheimer's cases rising as population.
Solutions.
They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete.
You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
We Build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America builds and maintains roads, bridges, and other essential infrastructure that make us the crossroads of America. So thanks to LIUNA members' work, Hoosiers have a better quality of life, like access to utilities, easier routes to jobs, schools, or medical care. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.
Well, electronic pull tabs are becoming big business in Indiana, and the money is helping veterans and fraternal organizations. Since launching at the end of January, the Indiana Gaming Commission says pull tabs have generated nearly $76 million. Indiana has nearly 2,800 machines in operation, and most of the state's eligible organizations have them. Some of the revenue stays with the groups running the devices. VFW Post 1114 in Evansville tells us e-tabs are bringing in about $2,500 per week. Meantime, in Dearborn County, industrial filtration company BWF Envirotech broke ground this week on its North American headquarters and manufacturing facility. It's a $9 million project that's expected to bring about 60 jobs to the city of Greendale. It will be the only North American headquarters of an internationally operating company in Dearborn County. Elkhart-based Welch Packaging Group is expanding its existing presence in Tennessee after acquiring Jamel Containers. The acquisition adds digital printing capabilities, and Jamel plans to introduce new product offerings as well. Welch Packaging employs nearly 2,000 people company-wide. To Northwest Indiana now, where 6 proposals are outlining potential uses for the former Genesis Convention Center in Gary. Each one includes mixed-use elements. The city's request for proposals includes either an adaptive reuse of the facility or new development on the site to, quote, energize the downtown area. The convention center has been vacant since 2020 due to increasing costs. Franklin College in Johnson County embarking on a huge fundraising campaign and already is seeing some big results. Franklin Forward is a 5-year, $40 million campaign focused on increasing the college's endowment, completing a campus renovation, and shifting the institution's financial model toward greater reliance on philanthropy. The school says it has already raised more than $29 million. Well, after years of planning, construction is beginning on the Jasper Regional Wellness Center in Southwest Indiana. Amenities include a fitness center, group exercise studios, and a community kitchen. It's meant to serve as a regional hub for wellness, youth development, and community engagement. The city-owned facility will be operated by the Tri-County YMCA. And now an update on a startup we featured just a few months ago, Crown Point-based OYE Therapeutics, announcing it has dosed its first patient as part of a study testing its new drug. OYE stands for Open Your Eyes because it's an injection of highly concentrated caffeine, which the startup says can help people come out of anesthesia twice as fast. OYE also has a military contract to test how the injection could help severely wounded soldiers remain conscious. The first patient to be given the drug is part of a bridging study, which could mean faster approval. And a big boost on the horizon for people suffering with disabilities in central Indiana. Indianapolis-based New Hope is kicking off a $4 million campaign to upgrade its Northwest Side campus.
Give it up for New Hope. Give it up for New Hope. Let's give it up for New Hope. Give it up for New Hope. Let's give it up for New Hope. Give it up for New.
One of the main focuses of the campaign is to enhance workforce development opportunities for individuals with disabilities. Money raised will go toward improving New Hope, Indiana's 14-acre campus, including new multi-purpose space and a commercial kitchen. New Hope has already raised about $3.5 million and hopes to break ground in July. Well, not the only nonprofit making strides to get with those challenges in the workforce. Learn more about the mission of Bosma Industries when we come back. Indiana, start your engines. Join us from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for our Emmy Award-winning Business at the Brickyard, presented by LiUNA. All month long, we'll bring you exclusive interviews, features, and a behind-the-scenes look at how the business of motorsports and racing drive the Indiana economy. Business at the Brickyard. It's front row access you won't want to miss.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
The challenges are real.
Type 2 diabetes rising
Small
faster
businesses
among
need help.
Alzheimer's cases rising as population.
Solutions.
They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete.
You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
Whether you're buying or selling a home, the stakes are high. Realtors are market experts who do business by a higher code of ethics, and we're invested in Indiana because we're also your neighbors. Now here's the latest statewide real estate report.
Listings grew by 5% year over year, continuing to outpace sales. Pendings jumped by 30% from February to March and were up 1% year over year. Sales were similar, up 27% from February and 1% from last year. Inventory is tightening, but growing year over year. However, inventory growth has slowed. We've been at 13% year over year growth for the past 4 months, while growth ranged from 15 to 30% in the 2 years before that. Prices are up 4% year over year, $10,000 higher than last March. Days on market fell significantly, and immediate sales are more common. Price drops are falling, but higher than last year.
A man in dark glasses.
I was a corporate level executive for a commercial construction company. By trade, I'm an architectural engineer.
But Ryan's life took a life-changing turn after a car accident left him permanently blind. The overwhelming concern of what comes next, where do I go from here, and how can I get a job to support my family? Ryan found answers when he turned to Indianapolis-based Bosma Industries, the largest employer of blind people in the Midwest. Bosma serves all 92 Indiana counties through rehabilitation programs, employment services, and its senior program. President and CEO Jeff Mittman, who has led Bosma since 2019, and it's personal for him. It's a personal mission. Mittman served in Iraq in the 2000s, where he lost his vision in a roadside bombing accident. Establishing a career at Bosma proved to be a full circle moment for Mittman.
A lot of the products made by blind individuals all across the country and organizations like Bosma, they actually used on the battlefield to save my life, whether it's the bandages or the very gloves they used on me were produced by Bosma. And I didn't know that, so I kind of come full circle. The padding in my helmet I was wearing that day, and that helmet sitting on the shelf behind me, was made by blind individuals in North Carolina. Wow. That protected my head from the blast and everything. So it's a little bit of a full circle that I've come back now, and I'm the CEO at Bosma.
An inspirational guy, Mittman was also awarded the Purple Heart for his bravery. And you can hear much more of our conversation with him on the Business and Beyond podcast. Another podcast in the IBJ Media Podcast Network, worth a listen. Playmakers with Dave Calabro. This week, Dave takes us to the Mount Rushmore State to meet a Hoosier using the lessons learned from 2 Indiana governors to blaze a new trail in business.
There's something very peaceful about watching the sunset in South Dakota. This is where you'll find Hoosier Kyle Hupfer spending his free time.
This is a place I bought a little less than a year ago, Scattergun Lodge. It's a full-service, 2,200-acre pheasant hunting operation here. You know, we do large corporate groups, small groups. You've got to go out and experience it yourself over the last couple of days.
Unbelievable.
It's a full service from commercial kitchen to bar to hunting. We try to give every group exactly what they're looking for when they come out here, and some of the most beautiful land that you can find in South Dakota.
It is spectacular.
Hupfer's made a name for himself in several arenas. He's a very successful lawyer and businessman, Hall of Fame basketball player during his days at Manchester College, and he's a leader in the political world.
Was just in the right place at the right time to really get enthusiastic about Mitch Daniels when he was looking to run for governor, and was one of the first handful of people who were out talking about him, helping him with his campaign. And then, you know, of course, he went on to become a very successful governor. I went to work for him to run the Department of Natural Resources. And that's kind of where my, you know, traditional legal career kind of got a little bit sideways, and then has gone through business and entrepreneurship and other things. But really that experience that Governor Daniels gave me, both on the political side initially, and also just kind of watching how he had done things with business, kind of propelled me in that direction. And, you know, I met a pretty good friend early on in that too, Eric Holcomb. And so
yeah.
we had a pretty good run together ourselves over 8 years while he was governor.
Kyle is my guest this week. He has some great stories to share about politics, hoops, and hunting. I hope you'll check it out. It's called Playmakers, presented by IBJ Media. Download it wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Dave Calabro.
Great stuff, Dave. Well, this time of year, racing is definitely the theme in Indiana. The Little 500, it's a time-honored tradition in Bloomington, marking 75 years this year. It is the largest collegiate bike race in the country. Each rider wears a paper bib, but one IU senior is trying to change that and help athletes become more aerodynamic. The Aero Bib is a fabric adhesive race bib that doesn't require pins. Gage Pratt, a cyclist and former track and field athlete, invented the bib as part of a senior design capstone project. The business launched just a few weeks ago and is already drawing attention from local and international organizations.
I've always loved the design process, and it's so cool seeing something that I've made just out there, and not only that, but improving the sports I love. I love that these athletes love it, and anything to help them out with, you know, like I said, I want to focus on the comfort and convenience of athletes.
Definitely an innovator. Pratt is currently designing and sending out the samples of the Aero Bib. While the materials come from California, the bibs are fabricated right here in Indiana. Well, the Little Five in Bloomington riles up memories of the movie Breaking Away, released back in 1979. That's where we leave you this week. Go out and make it a successful week.
But Enrico has a problem. He's not in Italy. He's in Bloomington, Indiana.
Papa! Ciao, Papa!
We build Indiana. The Labor's International Union of North America builds and maintains roads, bridges, and other essential infrastructure that make us the crossroads of America. So thanks to LIUNA members' work, Hoosiers have a better quality of life, like access to utilities, easier routes to jobs, schools, or medical care. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Labor's International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.
Richards, get in the game. We're getting pickled here, and they're crushing our loan business too.
But this Lake City Bank team seems nice. They offer small business loans from your phone.
We have that too.
You can even speak to a real live banker.
You guys good? No one needs to talk to a person anymore.
I like people.
Nice game. Come by the branch anytime.
They have branches?
Friendly business loans. Apply online with SwiftLend or visit real human bankers at your local branch.
Indiana, start your engines. Join us from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for our Emmy Award-winning Business at the Brickyard, presented by LiUNA. All month long, we'll bring you exclusive interviews, features, and a behind-the-scenes look at how the business of motorsports and racing drive the Indiana economy. Business at the Brickyard. It's front row access you won't want to miss.
From breaking news to in-depth articles, discover the advantage of unlimited access to all news from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business with our limited time trial. Get started now at ibj.com/trial offer.
The IBJ Media Podcast Network is the soundtrack of a growing state. Indiana is on the move, and you can hear it happening on the IBJ Media Podcast Network. We bring you the voices at the center of our economy, our courts, our companies, and our communities. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation that's building Indiana's future. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.